So today I'm looking at Stackoverflow, and some of you may use it a lot, some of you may not have used it at all. As much as anything, I just wanted to kind of discuss asking questions. Now, I suspect most of us find the answers from questions which have already been asked and answered, but if you ever feel the need to ask a question or answer a question, then you'll know that depending on how much information you put in your question will drastically affect what response you get. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? So, this is not really prepared, but I just going to look at put in Scrapey, and let's just go for newest. And many of the answers get, many of the questions get answered very, very quickly. So it's a very active forum. It's a very active website if you've not come across it previously. If you have, I don't want to bore you. So let's look at, I'm just going to go in and look at a question or some questions which I've asked in the past. And hopefully they're good examples. And let's just have a look and see if I can find one of my old questions. So those are answers. Let's go for questions. And I've only answered 3 questions, but this was an excellent one, and this was one which I feel like I asked the question very concisely. And I was in the middle of a project where I needed to merge 2 data frames, but I wanted to preserve the row data in the order of the original index value, as you can see from the question. So I was also working on a project where the customer's data was private, should we say. So what I did was I just constructed some dummy data, and I distilled the problem down as small as I could. So I created a data frame 1, 012, data frame 2, 012, and then all I did was I said I want data frame 3. So data frame 3 is my desired output. And I don't think it's really possible to ask a question much more simply than that, really. In contrast with an earlier question, my first question which I asked, which I didn't explain myself very well, this one I feel I explained myself perfectly. And lo and behold, I had, I don't know how long it took to answer. I think it was overnight, but I had this response and merge sort. So if you use merge sort with pandas, you can merge that one, and they go together, and you can preserve. So it went apples, so 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. So that was the fact that it took me 20 minutes, or I don't know, 10 minutes to create this sort of Excel grid and then do a screenshot. Okay, maybe it took me 20 minutes in total to do this and type out the question and scratch my head and think if I, double proofread it, should we say. So once I proofread the question, I posted it, and yeah, sort index kind equals merge sort. So I think let's go back and look at another question which I asked, but I asked it not quite so concisely. And as you can see, it's had no votes. I tried to explain myself, but I didn't really explain myself quite so well, and I was struggling to, again, I was needing to keep the data of the customer's data private, so I had to kind of put in some dummy data to do with rainfall and cities. By the time I'd done that, I'd actually diluted my problem, shall we say. So yeah, Stackoverflow is, and it's not just Python. Obviously you can get C. And obviously you could, I think you can get Arduino instance. Yeah, Arduino, C++ obviously. You can, as I say, it's not just Python, so Raspberry Pi, and hook up Raspberry Pi via Ethernet to laptop without router. Yeah, I'm sure you can do that with the crossover cable, surely. Oh dear, doesn't meet Stack Overflow guidelines. So, yeah, crossover cable. For anyone who knows about networking, if you connect two computers, you can do them directly without using a router or a switch or a hub, and you can do it with a crossover lead. So let me just show you crossover. RJ45 crossover cable. So it'll be the same as your normal Ethernet lead, except it's wired differently. So if you make your own, then that's actually what's called a rollover cable. But yeah, the crossover cable won't match, so you'll need to order a crossover cable. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, Stack Overflow. The other good thing is, if you answer questions, you gradually build up a reputation. And I'm not really showing off here because many people are into many thousands. But what you eventually do is you end up with no adverts, and you get other privileges. So let's just have a look. I can't remember what the other privileges are, but over time you get less adverts and so on. So yeah, that's me anyway, Dr. Pi on Stack Overflow. So and the other thing about Stack Overflow, I don't know if any of you have seen the Corey Schaefer video from probably 2 years ago, but it's where I first heard him or anybody talk about the Stack Overflow survey. And yeah, that's obviously discussing contractors, and I can't find it, but let's just have a look and see if we can Stack Overflow annual survey. If you watched Corey Schaefer videos, you already know what I'm talking about, but there we go, Stack Overflow developer survey. Read the overview. So assuming the 65,000 people took part. You can actually download the surveys, and you can use them for Pandas or for learning, machine learning as well. Look at that, wow, that's UK survey respondents. Okay, so you can see the replies on here. I do believe they are available for download as well. So yeah, how long have most people been coding? Less than 5 years, 5 to 9 years. Interesting. I guess it's probably affected by the average age. If you're only 20 to 25 years old, then 9 years coding could be nearly half your life. So 65% of respondents have been coding professionally for less than 10 years. How long have you been coding? Let me know. Yeah, I don't need to cover that too much. So let's go back, and what else should we look at? So let's just have a look at some questions that I'll get back to Scrapey because it's the one that I'm familiar with and I look at most. So you may occasionally, if you ask a silly question, you don't really, I wouldn't say you get a silly answer, but let's just say you will get, I wouldn't say ask a silly question, get a short answer. Yeah, and getting back to what I said earlier about asking the correct questions, you can see if you don't phrase your question well, you actually get downvoted even just from your question. So start URLs are being passed first, and then the response.follow callback has been executed. Well, yeah, no wonder it's been downvoted. It's not exactly. I want to execute the first start URL and then all response follow requests, and then the second URL. I recognise that. It's almost like my code. Why are they not using feeds? If I ever answer or respond to any of these, I tend to just fire up Scrapey Shell and have a little experiment. It's always worth just looking at other people's code on here. You usually learn something, even if you just learn that your code is actually okay. Web scraper not going to new URL. In fact, this is a common one actually. You see people posting because their script works elsewhere, but it doesn't when they do it within Scrapey. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with answering loads of, or attempting to answer questions on Stack Overflow, but really I want to just show you that if you do ask a question, then you need to you need to be quite concise and very explain very clearly what it is that you want. So otherwise you'll get a -1. So if you answer a question badly, you'll lose a bit of your reputation. So yeah, I think that's oh, and also if you are looking for a job, I don't senior Python engineer. Let's just have a look at some jobs while we're here, shall we? Whether we've all got the skills for these jobs or not, it's just always good to look at the job specs and either laugh or cry. So this one, mid-level artificial intelligence. So they want senior data engineer, Python, Java, SQL, AWS, cloud computing, Postgres, data modeling, home working, remote. Okay. So Postgres is SQL is it crops up quite often. YouGov, senior software engineer, Python. It's for the UK government. Let's just see what else they want. So they're looking for Python 3.7, Flask, Django, Celery, Postgres. So Python, Django and Postgres are probably the 3 common things that you'll keep seeing. Fresh fruit, coffee, cool beverages and snacks. Kubernetes, AWS. So yeah, again, AWS is cropping up everywhere now. I don't know about you, but I don't really want to work in one of these companies that uses AWS. I think my kitten ate a coffee bean. Okay. Yeah, not everything is entirely relevant. Let's just have a look at one more job. Engineer manager, data retrieval and scraping. Again, Amazon Web Services. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do with your career and chosen career path, and Amazon Web Services does feature quite heavily. Where are they based? Spain, was it? Oh, Silicon Valley. Oh, they're backed by investors in Silicon Valley. Madrid, okay. So, yeah, testing, bugs database, bug fix, daily builds, one-step builds, source control. Yeah, I mean, full stack, software engineer. Yelp. If anybody of you scraped Yelp or you've seen my video, I've scraped Yelp in the past. What are they looking for? full stack engineering experience in Python, Ruby, JavaScript, Java, or C++. Here we go, Django, Flask. So, sorry about that. There we go. So, yeah, web development or data science. It's kind of a fork in the road, really, in JavaScript. If you want to do anything with web, then learning Python and Django is not really enough. You really need to master JavaScript as well. So anyway, enough about that. Let's just have a look for one other. So we've got data scientist. So most jobs fall into one of two categories, which is either web, Python, Django, or data science. Obviously Pandas, NumPy. Let's just have a look at this one. Did we look at that one? No. So that's Canada. Data mining and scraping. Job description. Millions of e-commerce brands. So again, you have deep knowledge on AWS services. So this is the Postgres. So Postgres, SQL, AWS. It's pretty common for these kind of type of jobs that you'll see on Stack Overflow. That seems to be very common that they want Amazon Web Services these days. So I just wanted to kind of just cover the trends that are out there. Whether you choose to embrace them or you choose to ignore them and, you know, go down your own route. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but yeah, we've all got our preferences. Team player, for you, work is not a solo game. You love collaborating with people and you enjoy spending time with the team. Hacker mindset. So yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is, just before we go, let's just look up ethical hacking. If I can spell it right, that would help. Ethical hacking, SQL injection. So yeah, security, cybersecurity, etc., etc. PHP, JavaScript, SQL, Python. So yeah, different jobs being advertised on Stack Overflow, and I hope I've just given you a good guided tour of Stack Overflow. If you've not used it much before, then don't be put off if you get downvoted or if you get kind of very short answers to your questions that seem a bit blunt, but really just, yeah, I can tell you from experience, if you ask a question very clearly and you say what your problem is and what you want is your result, then you should be okay. And yeah, just don't be put off. Try again. And yeah, whether you want ethical hacking, SQL, Arduino, Raspberry Pi, networking, database, so on, come here, have a look, and you will be pleased with what you find. So I hope this has just been a good little intro or guided tour of Stack Overflow, and I'll be back with some code or something different next time. Let me know if you fancy anything different on the channel. Otherwise, I'll be continuing with more Python and web scraping and automation stuff. So I hope you're liking it, and see you soon.